it's Harley J, and in this video I'm going to be going through the background and pre-Hope's Peak life of Toko Fukawa. In this, I'll be going through her influences, lifestyle and inspirations that led her to be the character we know in the present day. First, we'll begin with Toko's beginnings. Toko's last name, Fukawa, is made up of the characters for the words rotten and river. Toko is made up of the words winter and child. In another episode, we learn that Toko was raised by two mothers and one father. This is because when Toko was born on March 3rd, another girl was born at the exact same time to another woman, but both of them had the same father. The other girl died, but due to a mix-up in the hospital, the mothers had no idea whose baby had died, so they both decided to raise Toko as their own. They never took a DNA test in fear that it was their baby that died, so they both decided to live in blissful ignorance. This may have led to Toko to feel out of place, as she doesn't really know which person she belongs with. Her home life was also very abusive. She was once locked in a cupboard for 3 days without food, forcing her to be alone for all that time. This indicates that her parents wanted her out of the way with, and probably didn't enjoy Toko being around, which could have led to her constant self-deprecation and her believing that she was hated by everyone and that they found her annoying. This is probably reinforced by how her parents treated her, which is reflected in how she speaks to her peers. When Toko developed her split personality is unclear. Her murderous other half, Genocide Jack, is one of the most renowned serial killers in the world, and she switches between the two by something as simple as a sneeze, being knocked out, or by large doses of electricity with a stun gun. I'll be going more into Genocide Jack's appearance later on in this video. Toko does find the concept of friends to be alien and new to her, which implies she didn't have many, if any, friends when growing up. The only friend she really had was her pet stink bug called Kameko, who Toko believed understood her on an emotional level. Comparing herself to that of a stink bug is probably another way that Toko looks down upon herself, as she may not believe that she's deserving of any other better animal as her companion. The people she was shown to have some positive feelings for all turned against her, which meant that Toko became very insecure. She looks down on herself constantly and thinks that anything anyone ever says to her is a trick or a direct insult. She also looks down on those prettier or slussier than herself, which may be down to jealousy and her problems with her own self-consciousness. Even though Toko is massively insecure in her own appearance and personality, due to the fact that nobody really appreciated her while she was growing up, she has great confidence about her writing abilities, going as far as stating that her new work will be a masterpiece and will shock the world forever. She believes that her kind of writing is above any other kind, with the rest being trashy and impure. At elementary school is when Toko first fell in love, and where her interest in writing started. A boy she used to speak to a lot was moving towns, and she didn't recognise her feelings for him at first, so she wrote him a love letter the day before he left. The next day the letter was pinned up on the school bulletin board for everyone to see. Later, when she confronted him about it, he said that he hated how much she spoke to him because all the other kids made fun of him for it, so Toko supposed it was some kind of revenge. After this, Genocide Jack chased the boy all the way to his new town just to kill him. However, some good came out of this, as a teacher read the letter and commented on Toko's ability to write, which sparked her interest in being the ultimate literary girl. A date in middle school was Toko's first date. A random boy from another class asked her out and said she had to plan a date for them, so she spent 3 days with sleepless nights planning for the perfect date. In the end, they went to a triple movie marathon at the cinema, but he ran away during the first film. She later found out this was because the boy had lost a bet to his friends and had to ask Toko out as a dare. She says that if she isn't writing, she's studying, and that's all she does in her free time. These are both solitary activities, which are probably the result of being so neglected and isolated in her life that she had to resort to being locked up on her own all the time. She has immense trust issues, as all of the people that have ever been nice to her in her life have turned on her and manipulated her vulnerability for cheap laughs, which means that as Toko has gotten older, she's gotten much more bitter and defensive about anything in her personal life. She hates opening up about herself and fear that somebody may use that to hurt her, so instinctively she has her guard up at all times. Being rude is sort of like a defense mechanism for her, as she can easily repel anyone who has the opportunity to use her, but it also reinforces her loneliness, so she's stuck in an inner conflict of needing to push people away, but still wanting someone close to her. This inner turmoil may have led to her developing her split personality, Genocide Jack, due to such stress and pent-up emotions. Being quite a solitary person and having no one to talk to about her problems, she would have had to have those negative emotions and trauma built up inside of her, but she would have also had nothing she could do about it. Genocide Jack was probably the result of such stress and loneliness that she needed a release of some kind, so this new person was created to fulfill those desires that she couldn't act upon as Toko. Genocide Jack is the opposite to Toko in the way that they behave. Where Toko is a downer, Genocide Jack is genki. Where Toko is quite void of emotion and energy, Genocide Jack is energetic and colourful. Toko reads classics and Genocide Jack likes erotic thrillers. These are all guilty pleasures that Toko would never let herself indulge in, but Genocide Jack embodies these and goes against the repressed modern society that Toko is stuck in. Her aggressiveness and desire for revenge is personified with Genocide Jack, and Toko may have just really been that lonely that she needed someone who could understand her pain, even if that person was a part of herself. The fact that Genocide Jack only kills cute boys is more than likely linked to Toko as well. It's said that these two share nothing but strong emotions, so Toko's hatred for the boys that she loved but used her was probably translated by Genocide Jack as all boys Toko's attracted to are horrible, so she wants to kill them before they can ever hurt Toko, hence why she only ever goes for cute boys. Though this would suggest that Genocide Jack does care for Toko and wants some good for her. She does express some kind of need for acceptance from Toko, even though Toko hates her for being a notorious killer. This would obviously add to the inner turmoil that Toko already experiences in her own personality, but with Genocide Jack added on top of that, her mind would be constantly torn and being dragged from one side to another, which would cause immense amounts of stress. Her only escape from all the stress in her life is her delusions and fantasy world. She has a great imagination and she uses that as a stress relief, just like how people get themselves caught into the world of books to escape from their own troubles in the real world. If she can get so indulged in her stories, she can live a kind of fantasy life where she doesn't have to face the problems in her own mind, nor in the real world. She craves a life like the characters she writes about, where men are charming and treat her with respect rather than the abuse she's received her whole life. She also uses this imagination as a way to twist negatives in her life into positives, as seen with her fantasies involving Byakuya in another episode, where the mean things he says have been warped into beneficial experiences for her. Overall, Toko is a very stressed person, and her abuse and mistreatment as a child led to her developing a serial killing, split personality, and a lot of trust issues. Still, she's one of my favourite characters, and I thought deciphering her past would be useful in understanding her character a little bit more. So, let me know what you think. What do you think of Toko as a character and her involvement with Genocide Jack? Let me know, and I'll see you next time.